We're back.
Hi.
Another Biz Besties episode and part three of our series where we are talking about selling live events, whether they're virtual, whether we're in person, how to serve more people, how to do it in an authentic way, how to have fun. And we're giving you behind the scenes of what has worked, what hasn't worked, what we'd recommend. And if you were our client, what we would recommend you do and what you try. So we're going to get into more of that in a moment. Kayla, what are you grateful for today?
Today, I am grateful for the fact that we can share clothes because it really reduces the amount of clothes either of us has to buy. If we just have to buy it one time and then we can both wear it, this is 15 on 10 for me. My little heart does not enjoy shopping, but when we do go and we pick the things up, I really enjoy that we can share. What about you?
I also just have to add to that because it's so funny because we've went shopping a few times where we both are like off doing our own thing and then we show up at the change room with the same outfit. And then we're like, should we buy two of them? And with this particular outfit you're talking about, I was like, why don't just one of us buy it? And then we won't wear it on the same day, and I can wear it one day and you can wear it the next day. And so an outfit that served me well at She Leads is going to serve you well at Powerhouse Women. But by
I
hearing this, Powerhouse Women would have already happened, and Kayla's going to rock it.
Yeah, and we do have one of us needs a beige blazer and one of us needs a black blazer, and that's pretty much it. We've got the blazers on lock.
It's,
So we make it happen.
and I love when you bring your chunky necklaces to a photo shoot and then I get to wear them.
Yes. It's the best. It's like having a sister, but I didn't have a sister when I was little. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, it's great. All right, what I'm grateful for today, I am shouting out Dr. Sarah Lee. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook. She's got a podcast called The Expanded MD. And Dr. Sarah is a very special client of ours, a friend, a client. She's been with us for 3 years. She's does one-to-one with us and in Align CEO Method. She was a speaker on our Health is Wealth panel. And I am shouting out Dr. Sarah because for many reasons, we love her and she's super smart. And anybody who works with her, it's such a gift and a privilege. And she was one of the first people I told that I was pregnant because I was freaking out a little bit. I'm like, I can't get a doctor, I can't get a midwife. And I was like, what do I do? And so I told Dr. Sarah at She Leads, she may have almost caused a heart attack for a couple of old women in the parking lot because she screamed so loud. She was so excited for me, but she just went above and beyond to make connections that have allowed me to feel so supported in my pregnancy journey. More than Dr. Sarah Lee, I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah, we are both so grateful. I went to Dr. Sarah's house the other day to pick up some booster seats for the kids. And what did I? And I dropped off something. I don't know. Dr. She's also a sports icon, a fashion icon. I was like, Scott, for my 40th birthday, I want the watch that Dr. Sarah has, please. And we do call her Sarah sometimes when it's just the three of us, but most of the time we call her Dr. Sarah. And there you go.
And also,
Big
she
shout
is,
out.
she's the icon of delegation.
She is.
Dr.
And
Sarah,
she has a TED Talk.
yes, she's got a TED Talk. We went and we got our seats and we cheered her on. She delegates maybe better than anyone I know.
Yeah, she has a bunch of assistants and she's open and willing to let people do things for her so she can be present in her role as a
Yeah.
physician, a coach. Yeah. We admire you, Dr. Sarah.
Okay.
Shout out.
Shout out. We'll link her links in the show notes so you can
Yeah,
go.
her TED Talk, her podcast, her website.
All right. Kayla, today in our series, we're in part three. Last week, we were talking all about how you weave in what's for sale into your event. And today, we are talking about the logistics. This
Ah,
is
my
your,
time to shine.
it's your time to shine. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's your time to shine. We're talking logistics. There are separate sets of logistics if you're going to host a masterclass or like a 5-day event online. Or if you're going to host an in-person event, retreat, whatever it is. And some of those logistics cross over, and
Mhm.
some of them are so completely separate, and they require thought, data, spreadsheets, planning,
Math.
mathematics. And I want to hand it over to you. Obviously, loop me in where you feel fit, but this is your time to shine. What are the need to know logistics behind running a virtual event or an in-person event?
Okay, should we start with virtual?
Yeah.
Okay, a virtual event, a masterclass, a 5 day challenge, whatever you want to call it. The more organized you are, the easier it is for people to join, the more people will join. When you have more people in the room, you have more chance of selling to people so that they say yes and people getting to know about your product or your service. Now, people might not buy the first time they hear it, but you definitely have a higher chance if they're in the room. But if you're going to go to all the work to do it anyway, you might as well do it properly. Virtual events, here it is. Number one, you come up with your concept. So, how we do it is Nicole and I have a meeting, we get together, we talk about what we want to deliver, what's hot right now, what we really want to talk about with people. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say that. And oftentimes, because we get to read our clients' data every week from trackers, obviously they get the response first. But when we see, oh, more and more people are joining us because they're like, wow, I feel like an expert in my industry, but I don't quite know how to translate this into a profitable, sustainable business. We only have to hear that so many times. The two of us are sacral generators. It's in us to respond. We're like, oh, that would make a great masterclass of you're incredible at what you do. You're a
Hmm.
coach, you're a counselor, you're an accountant, whatever it might be, but you don't know how to make it a profitable business. Then we're like, that would make a great masterclass or a great 5 day event.
Yeah. Okay. So we get the idea, we get the concept. Then we get the visuals. So, what are we going to post on Instagram? What looks good with our brand colors, our grid? Blah, blah. Go in Canva. We look at templates. We just actually literally create it there in the moment. And then we talk about what we're going to deliver each day. If it's a 5 day challenge, we break out, okay, day one is going to be this, day two, day three, high level, big picture, day four, day five. Now that we have the outline, we have the visuals, we have the concept, we have the dates, book some dates in your calendar, then my team and I take over and make sure that we can execute the back end of the step by step process to make sure that when people say yes to this, which is like the marketing role, when people are like, yeah, I want in, what happens next? So, first of all, we create the landing page, which is usually cloning another landing page that worked really well that has a form embedded in the landing page or a button with a pop up. We want to reduce the friction. So we don't want people to have to click here, then click there, then go to this other thing. We just want it to be like, here it is, it's happening, sign up right here. So when people go to the landing page or the bar on your website and they click and they put their name and their email in, and maybe how did you hear about us? If we're doing an affiliate something or other, masterclass or launch or something, and we want to give people credit for referring people, we'll put the affiliate box in. But if the simpler you can keep it, the better. And we will talk about affiliates and referrals on part 4 of this series. So stay tuned for that. But back to logistics, we just want a really simple way for people to sign up. And then once they do sign up, we want an automation, and we do this through Kajabi. So it's a form with an automated email in Kajabi, but you can do it through Flowdesk as well or ConvertKit, whatever you're using for your emails. When people sign up, you want to send them an email that says, "Hi, we're so excited you're registered for this thing. Here are all the details you need to know." And in there, either reminding them to put it in their calendar, or you get the system called Add Event, and you can put a button that says Add to your Google or iCal in the email, directly embed it so that people can add it to their calendar. We don't want anyone forgetting about this. So the easier, the better. Make sure that the Zoom link is in the calendar invitation, the Zoom link is in the form. Everybody has access to everything right up front. And then when it comes to the day to do the event, you want to send out an advanced email that says, maybe 30 minutes in advance, hey, come and join us in Zoom, or however you're delivering with the Zoom link or with the Kajabi communities link or whatever the link is, and test that. Make sure you test it and open up and it works. And then afterwards, when you're on the live masterclass, you're going to hit reply, or when you're on the live masterclass, you're going to hit record because you can send the replay out afterwards and send the replay out with the calls to action in the email. So that's it in a nutshell.
And I think too that the reason, there's many reasons, but one of the top reasons that we want to make it so easy for people to say yes is because it is 2025 and people are distracted, they're busy, their inbox is overflowing, their DMs. It's a busy, distracting world, the digital space. And to capture someone's attention, you've you've got to be strategic. You can't just wing that. And when somebody does say, yes, I want this, if you don't go above and beyond on your end as the facilitator
Mhm.
to make it so easy for them, they are going to forget about it the moment they sign up. Like, how many times have you signed up for
Yes.
something? And even if it's a really large brand, if they don't right away embed it into my calendar, fucking forget it. I will not be there. I
Yeah.
like it, take that above and beyond step.
Even if I pay for it, I'm not going unless it's in my calendar. I have no idea it happened. I can't remember what date it is.
Yes. So just put it in people's calendars. It drives me nuts that people miss that one simple step. So you really, the whole time that we are planning anything, actually, this is what I really want to say. The whole time that we are planning anything, again, whether it's something for Align CEO Method clients, an online event or in-person event, our lens, our filter that we put through every decision is, will this make the person who is receiving it, whether it's free or paid, feel like this is the best experience they're getting? It is value packed, that it was a no-brainer to sign up, that it was easy to attend, and they would absolutely want to tell a friend about it. If you're creating something that's half-assed and you're just going to send that out to people and hope that it's good enough and that people will tell their friends, that's not even something you're thinking about, then you're just wasting your time. You really want to think about five-star client experience with everything you do, free or paid.
Yeah, I love that. Something I want to say before we start talking about in person logistics is that, and we've made this mistake before, we're coming from direct experience, need to make sure that your free event or your paid event or whatever, your event is linked to your offer and that it's a super clear line. Come to this thing, experience this, work in a deeper way with us when you pay us. It has to be clear that the people that you're attracting to your in person or virtual event or whatever have to be the same people that will buy your ultimate offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it didn't work out for us in our favor. However, it did bring us one amazing client who's been with us for 3 years when we did host a 5-day masterclass that didn't really have much to do with our offer, but it was an old friend that we rekindled and we've been able to support her in her business over the years. So that's fun, but that's a fluke. And
Yeah. And just to give more context, we did a 1 week long 7 a.m. meditation every day for at 7 a.m. And that was our free event that we did to attract clients. And we are not a yoga company and we don't really teach meditation. We're business coaches. Meditation helps, but the link isn't directly there.
yeah,
And we weren't meditating on how to expand your business. It
no,
just wasn't really linked. But then, yeah, we did attract one client who we absolutely adore, love working with, and it was worth it in hindsight, but it wasn't the best strategy we've ever used. So keep that in mind.
keep that in mind. Okay, so that whole first part of this episode is so helpful for those of you who are doing stuff in the online space and
We're going to make you a checklist. So go to myalignedpurpose.com/podcast and it'll be super obvious right on top of the page that says event checklist.
yeah, so helpful. So grateful to have all of your insight here. And we are huge believers that when you create experiences for people to show up online and you create something that people want to come to walk away with something, like that is an art and it's totally available for those of you listening. Just don't shortcut the client experience. So take all of the advice that we've just shared in the first half of this episode, apply it to your business, go get ready and host your next online event or masterclass or challenge or what boot camp or whatever it is that you want to call it, webinar, and make it happen. And then we know there's a whole crowd of listeners who you love hosting retreats or you want to host retreats or events or workshops and they're in person. And that requires a different list of priorities and things to consider. And back over to you, Kayla.
Okay, let's talk about the logistics of an in person event. First of all, obviously, in person events are going to cost a lot more money than a virtual masterclass. A Zoom subscription's $20 a month. This is nothing compared to an in person event. If you're deciding you want to go into the in person event space or you're already there, we need to think about profitability in the in person event. It is absolutely not worth it to do it if you're going to be crushed by the cost and you're not going to make it up again. So, our strategy for that is you're going to do a rough budget of what you think the things are going to cost to pull it together, which I'll give you the list of to consider. And then you're going to say, how many tickets could I reasonably sell? Like, I would bet something that I could sell that many tickets. So you can work out the overall event cost, add a couple $1,000s to it to make sure you have a buffer, divided by that number of tickets that you're pretty sure you could sell and see what the price is. And then you double it. That is the old student works painting trick on estimates. You look at that, add a couple of thousand, look at the price point that comes out, double it, sell the tickets for that amount. Now, when you're in Aligned CEO method, we talk to you in a way more in depth conversation about event ticket pricing, about what it looks like to manage a budget of a live event. We're here and available for those conversations. So if you want to come on the inside, come and join us in Aligned CEO method. It's not like I can tell you this formula in 30 seconds and it's going to solve the problem. But I want you to keep in mind that it is possible to not lose money, to be profitable, and best of all, to have an offer that converts clients to your big offer, to the thing that you're selling. We don't just put on events to put on events. That's great. That's fun. Sure, you can be a networking meetup.com service if you want. But if you're building a long term sustainable business, put on the events that are going to lead people to your offer. Okay, that's number one. Get that out of the way. Now, in terms of logistics of the budget of your event, something to consider is that the venue is probably going to cost you the most out of everything, the venue and the catering. So we have done events at hotels, from Sparkling Hill to Brentwood Bay to Oak Bay Beach Hotel to the Delta. And the hotel cost is sometimes negotiable, but sometimes they have a room rental rate that they won't move on. Sometimes they include it depending on the catering cost. So make sure you ask what's negotiable and push back on pricing and see if there's any wiggle room there. But the food cost is something that's always variable. Like we always do, we don't provide alcohol at our events. If you want to buy the alcohol, go for it. But we do a nice mocktail when people come in. And when we do mocktails, I mean, we've had hotels who've been like, okay, it's going to be $18 for the mocktail. And then I do push back on that. I say, we're going to have 110 or 120 people. I'm not paying $20 for a mocktail because you have to include tax, tip. Usually it's like around 18 to 22% extra on top of all the charges. So I just push back. I'm like, what can you put in it to make it a $10 mocktail? And that has come with experience and time of just saying, no, we're not going to go with that budget and seeing what they can do. So I recommend having the conversation about how you can make the event fit your budget.
Mm. And another thing I would add to that is not necessary, and it is a risky line to tread. But if you're hosting an event at a resort or hotel, there's the option there to put yourself on the line for a room block, which is beneficial to your guests because then they're going to get a room at a discounted price and then they're all going to be on the same floor or whatever it might be, or they're guaranteed a room. You don't have to do that, but it is, again, a nice above and beyond of, hey, we've put ourselves on the line here for 25 rooms. And that way, there people can make sure that they get booked in. Now, you don't have to do that. And we fortunately have always filled our rooms. So you want to make sure that if you're going to put yourself again on the line to say, okay, there's 25 rooms available, you have to fill those. If you don't fill them as the event host, the hotel puts them on your master credit. You want to make sure that if you're going all in on this, that you really go all in and you market it and you make that part of the experience of you get a room at this price because it's true. If you don't have the room block for people, they're going to pay full price for their room if they can even get one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. Think about the room block, think about the food, think about your risk tolerance. And for She Leads, for example, this year in 2025, we hosted the event at Oak Bay Beach Hotel. We intentionally hosted 3 events before that event that were just evening get togethers, just so that people knew that we did things in person. So it wasn't like, surprise, we're here, we have an in person event. It was, okay, come to this $1 million brand event, come to our Christmas party, come to our winter situation where we're all networking, come to it and enjoy being together and meeting each other. And then we could sell at each of those events as well. Yeah. The next thing to think about, and this is also a contentious topic, is paying speakers. Now, we have talked to people who are doing the biggest events in the coaching industry or the biggest events that are live for women to connect, to get together. And there's a lot of benefits provided for the speakers, as in, like, sometimes they'll pay for hotel rooms or a green room or makeup, hair, but not very often in these types of events are people paying for speakers. Now, I'm not saying if someone puts on an event, let's say at a university, and they're getting a speaker who's written books and been on the New York Times best-selling circuit, that you're not going to have to pay for that person. Yeah, there are professional speakers that charge for their time, and sometimes it's $10,000 an hour or more. And you don't have to put on an event with a $10,000 an hour or more speaker. You can put on an event with people who want to come to the event, want to pitch what they have to sell, and or be in front of audiences and want to contribute and have that conversation and give. It depends where you are with your budget and your business and who you know, but there's always, in our experience, a trade available. So for our keynotes, we got them a hotel room at the hotel for 2 nights. We paid for their dinner, but we didn't pay them to come to the event and speak. And we also allowed them to pitch their product and share what they're all about and make those connections at our event, and encourage them to do that and coach them on their speaking in advance of, like, on their topic and how they're showing up in advance of the event. So there's a lot you can do from the event host perspective to give to the speakers that isn't necessarily a speaking fee.
Yeah, absolutely. We took all of our main stage speakers on Saturday out to a dinner together. And yeah, it was an incredible bonding experience after the whole event went down because we had spent months together meeting on Zoom. Like we offer to coach our speakers on how to, yeah, have the confidence to be on stage and how to be concise in their message and all these sorts of things. I also think that I'm only going to speak for myself, but I feel like I'm speaking for both of us. From my personal experience and perspective, anytime anybody has ever asked me to speak on stage on their podcast or at a live event or a virtual event and have asked, what's your rate or how much is it? I have always said, I know the value of this experience of getting to speak on your stage or your spot podcast
Yeah.
will come back to me in lead gen, in a new audience, in people following us, in people wanting to work with us. I actually don't want or need to be paid to speak on stage. And so, because I have that belief, I know how valuable it can be to be in front of a new audience or a big audience. Then I also trust that anybody we ask to speak knows and has that same belief system as well of this is a major opportunity for a whole brand new large audience to learn who you are and what you do and what's for sale. That's going to pay more than a speaker fee.
Yeah. I agree. And from the event organizer's perspective, we're paying up like tens of thousands of dollars to host this event, and we take on all the risk of that. And the speaker comes and doesn't take on any of the risk. We had a conversation with somebody who was potentially going to be a speaker, and she wanted to be paid to be a speaker, which we absolutely respect. And we knew that in terms of our budget, the hard costs are, like, the hotel is not going to comp us the room fee and the food. Those are hard costs. We know that the DJ is not going to show up and play the music. for free or for a discounted rate. And in terms, and the DJ and the hotel, they're really not getting the direct business connections out of being there. Maybe the DJ would get referred, but we're not giving the DJ a microphone and a stage and a platform to speak her message. We have her there playing the music. So we understand that in exchange, we're here, we're giving you the platform, we're taking on all the risk. We didn't put speakers into the budget, and we know that's industry standard on what we do. And if you're a speaker who wants to be paid, we encourage you to stick with it, go with it, see who can pay you for speaking. And if they can pay you and you're going to a conference that's put on by a corporation or a university or something and they have speaker fees available, then absolutely all the power to you. Go for it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And it was really eye-opening to be in our mastermind that we're in, again, with really high earning, high level entrepreneurs who many of them host events or have hosted events, and they've all shared like, oh, no, I don't pay my speakers.
Mm-hmm.
I pay them in the opportunity of all of the new clients they're going to get, but that's not the industry standard. And we had come off the back of a few years in a row of
Mm-hmm.
paying people because we didn't know. We didn't know that was an industry standard. And so then when we learn from people who we look up to and they're offering each other, you make friends, like you said, it's who you know. And that's what we always promise to Align CEO Method clients too. Like our network becomes your network when you become our client. And so the power of having the right people who say, hey, do you want to be on this person's stage? Do you want to be a speaker at this event? Or your own coach asks you, or whatever it might be, it can be totally transformative. We've heard from, especially a few of the people who were speakers at She Leads in the Health is Wealth panel. Oh my gosh, all three of them have reported back to say this was the ROI on this experience has been totally worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have the extras for the event, which really make or break the event, but they aren't the core cost. If you didn't have them, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But things that can take events to the next level are decor. And we got our stage decor at Temu. And I don't know if that's something you're not allowed to say out loud, but it was $30 for each of those arches. And I have to highly recommend. And if you're in Victoria and you want to borrow it, call me. Okay. Then next up, our outfits, our hair, our makeup, we paid for them. And because we knew we wanted to look good and feel good and be organized and not have to think about that while we're also thinking about all the other things that are happening, we booked our favorite makeup artist, we had hair in our hotel room, and we got the outfits that make us feel good.
Mhm.
We had, I mean, we learned from a few years before this that we need professional photography and content creation at our events. And so we had a videographer, a photographer, and Haley out there doing our reels. And most of that worked out. Some of it wasn't exactly what we wanted. If I could Groundhog Day and do it all over again, I would have a meeting with the people who are taking the content at the event and give them exactly what we need in the room and make sure that they test the light in the room. If I
Mm,
can just throw this out there to anyone who's listening, if you're going to pay thousands of dollars for content to be taken at the event, we want to make sure that they're getting the right shots, which just put together a shot list. And even then, we had a shot list, but even then, test to see, or maybe after the first night or after the first hour, take them aside and see what they're getting so that you know that you're going to get the valuable content that you're paying for at the event and it's going to be worth it for you.
absolutely. And if you know that you're going to do something again, the
Mm-hmm.
best way to sell it is to have social proof or content that you've already done it. It's not to say that you can't pull off your first event because obviously we did and everybody does. Everybody
Yep.
starts somewhere. But when you can have some sort of evidence that this is what the experience is like from the events that you host, it just makes it easier for people to buy because then they're like, "Oh, I can get a
Mm-hmm.
feeling
I
for
get it.
what the energy of the room is like."
Yeah. And then the other things are flowers or balloons or a photo booth or anything like that you want to think about. That kind of goes under decor, but there's like stage decor and then the rest of the room. And then gift bags. You have to get out there and pound the pavement and either ask for sponsorship for those gift bags or tell everyone you're receiving sponsorship and see who comes through. We have such a big network of women business owners because we're business coaches. So we had tons of people who wanted to give to our goodie bags. But you could also make a list of who you want in there and ask them to give. And previous years, we had done that. And our goodie bags, we pride ourselves on them being freaking amazing. Like opening a bag at Christmas and getting everything that you could want. So you can take that on too. You can go ask for scrunchies and essential oils and a journal and a pen and a cute hat, or I don't know, things that are going to make people remember the event, feel really special, want to be there again. And everybody loves a goodie bag, so you can't skip that step.
And it also makes me think how you get to set the culture, the energetic vibe of your experience.
Yeah.
And like we are really big on creating culture and community guidelines and these sorts of things. And we know how we like our communities to be run and feel. And there are people out there who you can get really big sponsorships. Like you can get big organizations like TD Bank and Scotiabank and these sorts of things to sponsor your event at high volume. And you also have to decide if that's part of your culture. Or is your culture leans on the corporate side? Because that will be represented. You can't receive sponsorship money from somebody and not show them at your event. And
Mhm.
so it's one thing to be like, it's one thing to say you're like a yoga, spiritual, holistic event, and then you've got like an oil company being the sponsorship to what it is that you do. So those things don't match. So you want to make sure that when you're searching or seeking out sponsorship, it matches the vibe. Shout out to Big Bun Scrunchies. That was, I think, one of the biggest hits in our goodie bag this year. And she went above and beyond to create custom pink ones to match like our logo colors and our brand colors. But also, that's the vibe of who we all are. We're biz besties, we're fun. Put your hair up, wear a scrunchie. And so we really think about who's going to be in the audience, what will make them feel like, oh my gosh, are they reading my mind? This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, it was so fun. We had mint cleaning, put bath salts in. We had Big Buns, put our scrunchies in. We had Valine Grovum, put in fizz from Arbonne, which was really fun. Everyone loves a little pick me up. Glow Integrative provided the bags. Snack boxes by the local ink. Thanks, Jess Marley. Hmm.
And then there was all the businesses that dropped in their discount cards and codes specifically for people at She Leads. Like, yeah, it was really amazing. And Haven, Coldwater Skin Bar, they gave us door prizes and prizes
Oh,
for, because
yeah.
we played 100+ person game of rock, paper, scissors. Amanda Walker, who's an Alliance CEO, won that. And so she got to get a facial.
Amanda Walker, Inaline CEO, also won our visibility challenge at the end of June. And
Yeah,
so we just sent her to dinner and a hotel.
yes.
Wow, Amanda, she is really working the Align CEO Method Network, and I respect that.
Yeah, she's abundant.
She is. She's a manifesting queen.
It's true. There's the logistics. Yes, we're talking about logistics for sure. Really, at the end of the day, just keep asking yourself, how do you want people to leave feeling? How do you want people to leave feeling? What do you want them to say about the weekend? What do you want them to go home and tell their partner about, or their kids, or text their best friend? Oh my gosh, I was just at blank event hosted by blank. And what do you want them to say about it? And then do everything that is in your power to pull that off so that they feel that way. Because at the end of the day, everything comes down to a feeling, and you get to create that feeling for people with your event. It does not matter if it's online or if
Hmm.
it's in person. We hear it all the time when people come to our online events. I feel like I'm in the room with you. This is amazing. That was the best week of my life. How can I work with you? You can translate the energy and the culture and the fun and the experience through a Zoom screen. It's absolutely possible. We do it all the time.
Yeah, come to our next free event and then you'll see. I think before we go, I want to say that we could not have done our live event this year without our volunteers.
Oh my gosh,
It
yes.
was our first time that we activated our network and asked a few people that we handpicked to come and help out at the event. and people who were previously in Align CEO, someone who worked for us previously, and a couple people from Glow Integrative because Rachel and Amber have the best clinic culture and we go there and we know them. And so we asked them to come and volunteer. And they helped us with the goodie bags. They welcomed people in. We were upstairs getting ready, doing our makeup, doing our hair, and they were organizing the room and not letting people in it and making sure people got the right goodie bags and the right name tags and all that kind of thing. I have to shout out Temu for the name tag lanyards too. They came like next day and they were pink and we clipped them all together and put all the names in and then we were done with it. Yeah, there's so many ways you can think about creating a culture, like you said before. Think about asking people that you really trust to help you. And then you don't have to have a massive budget for decor. You can look and get stuff that's good quality and looks awesome, but know that it's a one off event. People are going to be there for the feeling, not all the little tiny perfect details.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got one more episode in the series where we are going to talk about, we're going to dive deeper into activating affiliates and referrals and your network for, again, online or in person, and how powerful that is, and how we say thank you, how we give back to them, where you find them, how you get them to want to be a part of it, and what that does for your business. So that's what next week's episode will be to complete this series. But one thing I want to say that I don't know which part of the series it fits into, but I want to make sure we don't forget it. That's incredibly important is you spend all of this time, like you're going to spend time planning, executing, making it all happen, and then the event will come to an end. So if you've ever gotten married, you plan your wedding, the day happens, and then boom, it's done. Make sure that you have rest time, rejuvenation time, implementation time after your event. So we took a week after She Leads, and that was absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. You don't want to just fly right back into work on Monday morning or whatever it is that you do. You really want to soak up the energy of what it is that you just created for people.
Yeah. Yeah. And you likely need at least a couple of days where you're not around all the people all the time and you can just recenter.
Yeah. Okay. This is really fun. We'll make sure that we've got all the fun stuff linked in the show notes, and we'll be back next week with the fourth part of the series and our last episode, Biz Besties episode of August.
Yeah. Referrals and affiliates. You don't want to miss it.
Okay. Ciao for now.
Bye.